You see, this episode is continuation of the last episode. We spoke about why if you own a business, you have to help your children, bring your family, and then your wife or your husband into it to build legacy or maybe family owned business, family owned empire. And I said this because a lot of people didn't understand it. A lot of people started asking questions why, if the child is not interested, why the child is or your wife is not interested, or this and that and that. Of course, I understand. Everybody, every individual on this planet have their own interests. Even your own twins have their own interests. But having a child, sometimes it's you, the parent, who have to guide the child. Because children learn from their environment. The children we have, the children we spend our time, we bring up, they learn from our environment. Say if you have children and where they live, all the family, from dad, from uncle, dad, grandmother, and this and that, all of them are messed up in the house, there is a possibility that all the children in the house will be messed up. If they smoke or they do criminal activities or all sort of things, there is a chance that just only 1% of them, or 1%, or whatever it is, will not do the same thing everybody is doing. So if you have a child, let's say you have a child, and then you want your child to follow your footsteps. Sometimes we parents need to pay attention to what we do, what we talk about, our behavior in the house, how we do things. The children learn. That's why last segment I was saying that if you sow a seed, right? The seed that you sowed, you are sowing that seed to water it, to pour water on it, or to hope maybe it rains for it to, have very good nutrients and then germinate and grow to become a very good seed. That is your dream. So if you have a child and then you own business or you own something and you want the child to be involved, I think you need to start it from when the child is young. Let them see interest in it. Sometimes if you look at, in America, if you look at some farmers who, have trained their daughters to be part of it. You see them riding horses, riding tractors, and then working in farm. People, sometimes we ask ourselves how it happens. It happens because the parents are responsible training them. They are the one bringing the child up. So they train the child how the child should and what are the things that will benefit them. So let's assume what I'm doing here, if I want my children to become part of it in the near future, and if it grows up to a certain level, I want my children to become part of it in the near future, I have to start training them, bringing them in to be part of it, so that they show interest, they know the outcome of the program, they understand it. If they have to go to school, they go to school and then be part of it. Somebody will say you can't force your children to do what they don't want to do. It's not a force. It's something that you educate them. You let them know. If they take it, it's fine. If they don't, that is it. If you raise a child, it costs a lot of money to raise a child. Many people don't pay attention. That's why sometimes I see single mothers out there, anywhere in the world. Single mothers are the most precious people on this planet. Those who take care, pay attention to their children. And then parents, both parents too. Single mothers, single fathers, or even the couple. It takes a lot to raise a child. It takes a lot to bring a child up to a certain level. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of money, a lot of resources, a lot of effort to bring a child, to raise a child. You see, in the United States, it takes, from the birth up to 18. From birth up to 18. You can Google it. From birth up to 18. It costs about $230,000 to $414,000 to raise a child. To raise one child. So that's why sometimes some parents are broke. They don't see why they are broke, because they spend all their money taking care of their children, which is really, really amazing, because that is your seed. That is the person coming to fill your part in case you are gone, your generation. You have children, you raise them to fill your portion or your position on this planet after you're gone. And then the children too continue like that. That's why I was saying that if you raise a child and then you don't pay attention to them, you don't teach them writing, and then you put them in the same environment that everybody, every leadership in the family, every mother, father, sister, uncle, everybody is messed up, the child will become the same thing. And sometimes we keep on blaming others. So it costs this amount to raise a child from birth up to 18 years. About $230,000 to $414,000. Let me ask you, if you spend all this and then doesn't take care of this child, doesn't pay attention to this child, you raise a child and then you let the child go out there and do anything they want, because sometimes, our community say, oh, American children, they are just like that too. They are nothing. You are just like that. You are just like that, okay? Not a child, because you are raising the child. So if you want the child to be like you, to be successful, you have to raise that child. It's like watering a seed. If you want a seed to grow, to bear very good fruits, you do what? You water it. You pay attention to it. Very good. You pay very good attention to it. You don't just do like that. Just plant the seed, generate and leave it. It will grow and die. It won't bear any fruit. It's the same as raising your children. So if you live together as a couple, your children upbringing is very important. You don't push it on one person. You don't think one person needs to take care of it and for you to receive credit. No. If you want your child to be like you, to look like you, to behave like you, sometimes some behaviors are very bad, So if you have bad attitude, you don't want your child to be like you change. If you have bad attitude, then you change. You change for the better so that your child will also grow to become responsible. So we minorities, it is time for us to encourage ourselves to let everybody out there know that our children are our assets. Our children are our assets. You don't want to spend about $23,000 annually raising a child, and at the end of the day, you see the child in prison and spend money all the time to drive to prison to go and take care of him or her. You don't want to. You don't want to spend money to cultivate a land, buy a seed, plant the seed, or sow the seed, and instead of you taking time to just weed, remove all the plants that will kill the seed, you don't want to spend time on. You let it grow, compete with the plant, and then die. That means you yourself doesn't know that what you did needs to change. So it's very, very important. If you own a business, if you own anything, or even you live together as a wife, as a family, as everything, it is very, very important to be transparent. To be transparent among your children if you're running a business, transparent among yourself, the couple. You don't want to marry, live together with symbolic of a ring, showing that you're married, but maybe deep in your heart you are not. Deep in your heart, you don't pay attention to your children. Deep in your heart, you don't care about what goes on in your house. You don't want to do that. So folks, let us all come together to make sure that we learn how to build ourselves, build our family, and then support our community growth. It is very, very important. There is one thing that I'm going to talk about. If you are raising a child you see, there is some article here that I want to read about. It said raising a child to age 18 in the United States can cost considerably amount, with estimate ranging from roughly $230,000 to $414,000. So if you haven't paid attention to, yes, you can tarry. You can spend time to put down all your receipts and everything. I know nobody does it, but if you want to see, those are some of the things that, and then said depending on factors like location, income, and inflation. So here are more detailed breakdown. Okay, estimate cost. Total cost birth to age 18 is $230,000 to $310,000, depending on inflation and other factors. $414,000 projected cost to 2025. $414,000. So if you are raising a child and then you own a business, you want to spend $418,000 to raise one child. So if you have 3 children, 418,000 times 3. You want to raise, spend this money to raise that child, and then let that child go out there and do something different apart from what you are doing. I'm not saying that you should force them because you are spending money, but even if one of them can learn your trade, that can help their family generate more income. This is up to 2025. So nobody knows 2026, 2027. Annual cost around 230,000 projected for 2025, and then 15,512.52 to 17,459.43 in 2023. So the key expenses, housing. Housing takes significant portion of the overall cost. You don't sleep outside, right? You don't sleep outside. You have to pay for a place. Even if you buy a house, you have to pay for it. If you're renting, you have to pay for it, right? So housing takes a lot of chunk. And then childcare and education. Education is another of the overall cost. Education. So if you are out there and then paying, I know some people spend a whole lot of money. I mean, some people are watching the video right now. They can sit down and then said, oh my God, I didn't pay attention to this. Man, what Jim Frimpson is saying is really true. You know, look at how much money I spend on this child education, taking him here and there and all sorts of things. Those are some of the things people don't pay attention to. People really don't pay attention to. I know some single mothers who always, it's like their mind is divided. They are at work at the same time thinking about their child in school. They are thinking about how their children, now that, this administration is going to abolish Department of Education, it's going to be very tough for some families, to be honest, because there are some programs that help a lot. So if this administration succeed in destroying Department of Education for schools not to receive grants that they need, believe me, a lot of families will be in pain. A lot of you guys. I mean, I'm not saying this just to scare anybody, but it's true. Just do your own homework. Those of you who have children in schools, some schools provide free food. If these programs are gone and you are working to make $23 an hour at hospital, or maybe $30 even, or $50 an hour, and you have 3 children, how are you going to succeed taking care of them? There's no way, mostly if you're a single parent. There's no way. There's no way you can succeed. So it is very important that if you have a child and doing something, or you have a husband or a wife, both of you come together to make sure that you take care of your asset. Your assets. You create that generation wealth. You don't need to make millions of dollars to create wealth for your children. If both of you are together really well, you can do so many things. You can move mountains. That's why unity is very important. Why? Because one person can do it, but with a struggle. But if you are 2 or 3 together, you are 2 together or something, believe me, you can be very successful. You can be so successful. You can be so amazingly successful in such a way that it will surprise you. But at the moment, the mind is divided. There's nothing good that will come. You see yourself spending this amount of money yearly on your child, and then can't get anything out of it. So we minorities, Let us all come together. Let us all try to raise our children, pay attention to our kids, our family. If we own companies, let us try to help our families be part of it. Be part of it. Bring your family into it. Unless they don't want to be part of it, then you can't force them. But if they show interest, bring them in. Let them come and be part of it. Let them come and then help build that empire, because generational wealth is one of the most important things you can do. You can create for yourself. That's why, if you go to Africa, I have seen a lot. I've seen a lot of Africans growing up, their parents are rich. And then as the moment their parents died, they go with their money. They go with their business. Their children tends to be poor. Because parents think they are the most smartest people in the family. They don't try to help anybody. So what they need is, you come in, that I need money to pay my school fees, we give them the money. Even though we have business that we need to train the children, we need to bring them in for them to be part, and they know and get paid. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of people who had a lot of money pass away. I mean, some of you guys are watching, or some of you guys are here, you know exactly what I'm saying. You know it's true. You know I'm not lying. You know it. Those of you who have seen rich folks who have passed away, both even in Africa and abroad, and then their family doesn't know anything about what they have. Their families doesn't know anything about what they have, because they feel like they will live forever. They don't show. If your children are disobeying you, ask yourself, what are you doing wrong? What are you doing wrong? Because if you do, or if you did really good job, your children will be proud of you. They will be around you. They will try to follow your legacy. So if your children are just running away from you, they don't want to be part of you, or your wife even don't want to talk about what you're doing, then you ask yourself why. You ask yourself why. It's very, very important. So you look at all this cost to take care of a child, and then at the same time sit down and then blame somebody that person did what happened to your child to them. Then you need to ask yourself. Sometimes some families, unfortunately, doesn't have the resources, which is fine. It's so sad. But if you have the resources to help, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Mostly, I mean, if you have the opportunity to change something within your house, within your community, within anything, do it. Do it. Because that is the only way we can be successful. Folks, it is time for me and you to start thinking what we can do to build ourselves. To start thinking about creating some legacy for our families. Thinking about how we can come up with ideas to build wealth within our community, within our homes. It is so sad. It will be so pity. It will be so sad that you will spend all your time to raise your children, and unfortunately something happens to you and somebody comes and then grab all your, or maybe other. Last time I was talking to a guy from Africa, and he said he was working with one rich man. Well, this guy was wealthy. This guy had a lot of money. And because this man motive or his passion, because of his wealth, can't even disclose anything he has to his wife. Because if his wife knows exact amount of money coming to him, he cannot use some of that money to pay for his concubines, his side chicks. So this guy had a lot of money. He bought houses. He bought houses, gave some of the houses to his girlfriends because he's rich, he's wealthy. Meanwhile, his children are also at home, doesn't know, they don't come to their dad's company. They don't come to office. They don't do anything because dad feel like he will live forever. That stupid idiot think he will live forever. So you know what happened? One day, that man passed away. That rich man passed away. He had almost over 13 houses in his city, big city, 13 houses. Some of them are in his girlfriends, young girls are living in it. When he passes away, his wife didn't even know anything about his bank account. How much he has in a bank account, his wife doesn't have idea. His children doesn't know how the company even ran. This guy was telling me that he was driving the man, running around, but he is aware that this man has a house, has this and that, but couldn't go and talk to the family because he has no idea either the house belongs to him or not. And this man didn't even disclose where his documents are. Didn't talk to his children. He spent money raising the children, but didn't, do anything to complete his job. So after death, everything just vanished. Banks came in, and African banks, if you have money, and you are not lucky and you passes away, you don't have any will, or nobody knows where your documents are, your wife doesn't know anything. It's not like America that, everything you have, there is a trace. So the family can come in and trace it in the near future to know exactly how much you had. Africa or third world countries, banks somehow take it. So before you realize, you spend all your time thinking you are raising your children, but unforeseen reasons, something happens to you, and then you become, either your family tends to be like the poorest people in the community because you didn't do your homework. So it is very, very important. If you're raising children and then you feel you are doing something, at least train somebody. Even if they don't want to be part of it, train them to have idea what is going on, so that in case you are not there, they can hire somebody to work for you, for them, to continue your legacy. If you are married and you live in abroad, don't think you will live forever. Don't think everything will be like the way you're doing it forever. If you have a husband, let them know what you're doing. If you have a wife, let them know what you're doing. Build yourself. Bring them closer. Bring your children. Train your children. If you are responsible, you want your children to be like you. You want them to be, sometimes some children they call them prodigal sons. They will never listen to their parents unless they go out there and test and see before they come back. So if one of them, or if your child is like that, then there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing. You cannot just go ahead and then do what? Force them. But it is very important. It's very, very important that you pay attention, because Look, since I traveled abroad, I have seen a lot of companies, individuals who hand over their businesses, their empires to their family. They work to build empire. Those who would donate a lot of money to charity or other countries, but at the same time, big part of it belongs to their family, belongs to their children, belongs to their wives. I'm a real estate agent. I've seen a lot of families, rich folks who, pass away, and then their wealth is traceable. Their wife, their family, it has to go through the court system, but, their wealth is traceable. But it's not in African community. Some people would say, I'm not saying that all of us, I'm not saying, because there are some people who are so smart, they raise their children well, they raise their family, and then, family knows everything about what is going on. But those of you who doesn't have clue of how to unite your resources, how to bring your family into your resources, we need to learn. If you want to be successful, sometimes we pray. We sit down and pray every single day. We sit down and then call God. God, we need your help. We want to succeed. We want to do this. But we don't do things that, will let us succeed. We don't. So if you want to be successful, just build the empire. Bring your family legacy. Do not leave it behind. This is just even for Africans back home. Leadership. Sometimes our leaders come, they don't think about the people behind them. It's their own personal interest. It's what they do. And if you're a leader, and then either in your household or leadership, or if at the moment you start thinking about your own welfare, then you are doomed of failure. Right? At the moment, as a leader, at the moment you sit down and then think about, everything is me alone, you will fail. You might think you are strong, but at the time, everything has a limit. Everything on this planet has a limit. Human beings don't live forever. We don't. There are some people who have come feeling strong, and then at the end of the day, they ended up miserable. So it is time, if you want to be successful, if you want your generation to be so strong, so powerful, then see your children as yourself. Educate them. Bring them to you. If both of you are married, if both of you are raising the children, try to make sure that you train your children, you bring them together. Because look, if your household is shit, everybody, I'm sorry for my language, if your household is bad, everybody is going to be bad. Because you cannot, sow corn and then harvest millet. It doesn't work like that. Or rice. It doesn't work like that. What you sow is what you reap. What you sow in your family is what you reap. So you go out there and then just do things, you have money, and then just make sure that instead of helping your family, instead of doing things, you feel like, hey, it's me alone. Some people, even we, minority community, one person will have affair with almost over 10, having 10, 15 children. Don't take care of them. And then the children will come and then be miserable around. And then in case something happens, we come and stand and cry. We don't know that we are punishing our own self. So folks, it is very, very important. It is very, very, very important we need to address this kind of things. And then it's very, very important to pay attention. If you are going to spend over $23,000 a year annually to raise a child, a child, and you have 3 children. And if you're spending the same money, or even averagely 15,000 per each to raise that child yearly, and at the end of the day, you make money and then use the money to do something unnecessary instead of using money to take care of your children, to raise them, to become productive in society. Instead of doing that, you use the money to do something that is not. Your wife doesn't know what you're doing. Your husband doesn't know what you're doing. In case you are sick, everything is just gone. I don't think it's reasonable. Folks, our podcast is awareness and awakening. Awareness and awakening. It's like somebody told me, oh, yeah, the podcast is like public speaking. It's not. It's like we need to be aware of what is going on in our community. We need to be aware of what is happening. If you want to be successful, learn from those who have done it, who have made it. Learn from them. Learn from them. Because as a real estate agent, as I said earlier, I have seen so many families who passes away, hand over their resources to their children, their wives. They worked really hard. Those who doesn't have families, their family members. If they have millions of dollars and they want to give some to their family members, their family, the wife is aware of it, the children are aware of it, they know what is coming to them, what is going. They say it. If you listen to these billionaires, Warren Buffett and this young guy, Facebook CEO, Mark, said he would donate a lot of his wealth to charity. Do you think he's going to give all of them? No, he has planned. He sat down with his wife, his family, to make that decision. So they know, he knows that in case he's not there, his children, the young children, will be what? Will continue. They will never see poverty. But what are we doing, minorities? Are we learning all this? We go to school, but we don't learn anything. Back home in Africa, even. If you're listening to me from Africa, ask yourself, look up to your children. What are the legacy are you leaving behind for them? Look at it. Sometimes we feel like we have farming and we are farmers and our children. I've seen some people that even have commercial farming in Africa. They have a lot of lands and cows and everything. But they don't try to educate even one child out of all their children to be part of it. They want to be in charge of everything. So in case something happens, it happens, it's gone. They lose everything. And I feel like let us all see the light out there. We can do it. Yes, we can. There is nothing we cannot do. There is nothing. Look, I admire this boy, Burkinabe president, Ibrahim. He's young, vibrant child. He wants to change what hasn't been done in Africa over millions of years. He wants to change his country. If all of us can change, all of us can look up to this and say, what we have is what we have. What we have is something that we need to protect it, because there is nothing. If you don't protect what you have, nobody will come and protect it for you, to be honest. Do you think somebody from the United States will come and then help you grow your economy? No. Then if you grow that economy, how would they control you? It's impossible. It's the same thing. If you live in your house and then you think somebody has to come from outside to help you grow or live your life, you can never be successful. You will depend on the person. forever. And your children, at the end of the day, if you are not there, your children are going to be like that. So it is very, very important, folks. It's very, very important. Today's segment is just about raising ourselves, changing our life, changing our life. Do things to help our life. Do things to help our children. And then if you are married, you are a couple, please help each other. Respect each other's decision. Respect your husband. Respect your wife. Come together. And some of us families too, we are so selfish. Either a man or a woman, we are selfish. We want everything to be in our way. We married. We don't want the man to help the family, his family. But you have to know that that man, somebody took care of him. Or you married, you don't want the wife to help anybody in her side because you feel like you are married to her alone. No, that doesn't bring the family together. That doesn't help you even grow, right? Upon you helping your family, helping your children, helping everybody, there are some things that you have to know that the core fundamental is to raise your family, first of all, and then pay attention. That's why when I was saying, I said, Mark Zuckerberg, he has a lot. He's a billionaire, young guy. He has everything to celebrate. He owns Facebook. He owns all kinds of companies. He's young. But he would donate part of his money to charity, to others. Nobody knows how much he's giving to his own family. And I don't think his wife will say no. So if you are married to somebody either in abroad or in Africa, those of you who have habit of not allowing your husband or your wife to help their family, if you don't try to spread your wind to help others, you can never help yourself. God will never help you grow. God will never answer your what? Your prayers to grow. The wisdom that you need to even help yourself, you cannot. You cannot. So I think we need to be aware. We need to encourage ourselves. We need to unite, because Bible even tells us that we should unite. And we should have faith. We should respect each other. We should think that there is a reason why both of you are together to raise those children. There is a reason why God brought you from that family A to and family B to come together. God knew it already. God knew that this family A and family B children will come together to form another generation. So when you married, if you married, it's very, very important to do what? To respect your family, respect the other families from each other, and then help. Pray that God give you that wisdom that I keep on saying to raise your children. It is sad. It is sad because we think we have it all, but no. Let the disaster or let something happens to you, then that you see that you don't have it all. Because human being, we don't have long life. If I say our time is limited on this earth, let me put it this way. Our time is limited. So let us all come together. First, if you are listening, share this video with your friends. Forward it, subscribe to the channel, and then let us all come together. to build ourselves. Thank you.